A group of scientists are lost in the Sahara Desert in North Africa during their science expedition. The group is stricken with an outrageous sandstorm, due to which they lose connectivity with the outside world. A team of investigators sends a man named Jack, who is an ex-police officer, to investigate the problem. On his journey to trace the lost scientists, he ends up in an abandoned drilling site. Upon searching every corner of the facility, he finds some garments and equipment in the lab. This hints to him that someone has been here before him. Using his cop's instincts and a revolver, Jack starts scratching the place for more clues. He hears unusual sounds coming from the corridor which grab his attention. He walks into the corridor and finds the main door to be opened due to the persistent storm. He closes the door on his back and walks back inside the lab to further snoop around and look for evidence. Subsequently, Jack finds a door to another room inside the lab which has been sealed shut. He musters all his strength into opening that door. He almost gets crushed by a closet as he enters the room. The walls of the room are covered in bloody drawings and encoded messages in Arabic. When Jack sees the remains of a jackal that had been skinned, he realizes that the room has been used for some sort of satanic ritual. He quickly uses the radio signals to report back to his headquarters. He sends them pictures of the symbolic writing on the walls and asks them for a translation. He further states that other buildings need to be checked. In the evening, Jack reads some documents while relaxing in a room. The lights suddenly go out, so he goes to inspect the power generator. He switches it back on and goes back to his reading. It soon becomes clear to him that someone is using geocentric exploration to find fresh thermophilic creatures that are prone to survive in high temperatures. He then finds the video footage of the lost scientists that were celebrating a discovery. After eating dinner, Jack drifts off in his automobile. At one point, he becomes drowsy and begins to hallucinate. He sees a lot of hands taping on his car windows, which scares him at first, but he soon realizes he is having delusions. He grabs a blanket from his car and finds a place to sleep in one of the abandoned places around him. Since sleeping in his car can be dangerous, he spots a little structure with just one room inside, while also surveying the area with his automobile. He discovers freshly brewed coffee, which confirms that someone is out here beside him. As he gets back into his car to call the office, someone unexpectedly appears in the distance. With the use of his binoculars, Jack spots a woman coming his way. He watches her as she takes a shower in the middle of the desert, which is suspicious. When she enters, Jack pursues her and demands to know who she is. The woman introduces herself as Jenny, who is one of the doctors from the lost team. She informs Jack that the leader of the scientific expedition has passed away. She then declares her need to leave immediately and insists Jack report all of this to headquarters immediately. He contacts the headquarters and demands reinforcements, while also reporting the strange events that have been happening around him lately. While he waits for reinforcements and food supplies, his boss tells him to learn more about Jenny and the scientific study that her team was conducting. Jack investigates the head doctor's decomposing body in the freezer. He learns that Jenny lied about the cause of death, which confirms his suspicions. She begs Jack to let her go, but he ignores her and continues eating lunch. Jack admits that he has been a widower for some years as they get to know one another better. Jack asks Jenny to describe the drilling area to him after he notices it. She agrees to tell him about her team's drilling expedition for their scientific discovery. There are occasions, according to Jenny, when they hear weird noises that sound like demon screams. Jack, who is becoming more and more intrigued, drops his flashlight while hurling a ball of paper into a random pit. His gaze is drawn to the blood marks on the well's walls. He pauses and becomes lightheaded. As he's slowly losing consciousness, he realizes that Jenny wasn't present in those videos of the scientists that he watched at the drilling site. Soon, he is knocked to the ground abruptly when something strikes him in the head. He is assisted by Jenny, who then transports him to the base hospital, locks him up, and makes an escape attempt. In that room, Jack witnesses a few drops of blood falling from above the roof. Before acknowledging where the drops are falling from, a blood shower erupts and fills the entire room with blood. Although the door is locked, Jack still tries to leave. Shortly after, Jenny unlocks the door and messes with Jack's head by claiming everything that has happened to him inside the room was not real and that he was only hallucinating. Puzzled with so many questions, Jack takes a few hours-long nap and contacts his headquarters. He is told by his crew members that they have gone through old files and have found out that there was no female sent on the expedition team. He begins looking for Jenny, who has surprisingly vanished. He finally sees a tractor in the distance and moves toward it. Jack talks about what he learned at the station with Jenny as she suspiciously appears from behind. She comes with an excuse to come clean in front of Jack and tells him that her name wasn't registered in the documents. Jenny further says that although women weren't supposed to be on the expedition, she was allowed to go because of her relationship with the expedition's captain. Jack believes she is hiding something since he doesn't believe her justification. To have a better understanding of the situation, he asks Jenny to shed some light on the research that the team was doing here. To solidify her existence in the team, Jenny shows Jack a recorded video featuring herself in a lab suit. Next, Jenny plays another recording which was taken in the depths of the well. Strange noises can be heard in the recording, so they decide to change the frequency. As they're changing it, they hear the screams of random people. Jenny reveals that strange occurrences have increased over time. Scientists have experienced strange sounds, spooky visions, and even encounters with their loved ones who have passed away. Meanwhile, one of Jack's co-workers translates the phrases and symbols that were snapped to them by Jack. It turns out that the writings on the walls summon a particular demon that kills men. Jack and Jenny talk about their lives and viewpoints that evening as they become closer. As they head to the kitchen for food and beverages, Jenny gives Jack instructions to look in the bookcase for a hidden bottle of wine. Jack finds a bottle and a key tucked away in a book. Later, Jack starts the computer and replays the tube well recording that was previously shown to him by Jenny. Living creatures can be heard screaming in pain and pleading for assistance. When Jack investigates a commotion in the hallway, he discovers an unidentified woman wearing a blue dress. She changes into Jenny out of nowhere. Despite this, Jack invites them to supper. Jenny notices his birth date on his ID and gives him a miniature birthday cake as a surprise. But the day makes Jack think of a horrible incident. His wife killed their 2 children on his 32nd birthday. He regrets missing breakfast at home that morning. As Jenny tries to console him, their level of closeness grows as they kiss and undress. Suddenly, Jack looks out the window and recognizes his ex-wife's face. He pushes Jenny away and runs to find cover in another room to sleep. The ghost of his wife materializes and changes back into Jenny while he attempts to sleep. He is given a kiss and is addressed by the woman as Tom, not Jack, which is merely his nickname. They ultimately spend the night together, and Jack experiences a nightmare in which his home and lab merge. His wife shoots someone while carrying a pistol, most likely one of their kids. In the dream, Jack shows up in the hallway and his wife accuses him of having an affair, which prompts terrible behaviors. Jack wakes up in the hallway naked, gets dressed, and then goes looking for Jenny. He enters the restroom and is horrified to see a dead body. He runs into the hallway out of fear and finds Jenny coming toward him. She hugs him and tells him to try to relax because it's all in his brain. Jack keeps having visions, mainly of his wife, who found out about his affair and went insane. He also sees Jenny, who is holding his son's body while donning a doctor's uniform. Jenny goes for a run in the desert the following morning. In the meantime, Jack watches a video clip in which Jenny can be seen looking perplexed. He tries to reach the station as he drives off in his car. He initially calls for assistance and discharges his weapon. Jack returns to the abandoned building to look for his car key when he gets a call. He pulls out his rifle and steps outside to the area around the tractor. There, he finds a pit full of insects that change into birds and take flight. Jack enters the pit and is met with a wall of human skulls. He succeeds in getting away and goes to the shower. Jenny shows up and wants to join him as he is doing this. She is pushed away by Jack, who then strikes her with an iron rod. By this point, Jack is extremely agitated and unable to discern between reality and his hallucinations. He apologizes to Jenny and goes to get some medicine to help her. But when he comes back, Jenny has already disappeared. When Jack enters the laundry room to look for her, Jenny reemerges and strikes him. Jack enters a room, locks the metal door, and flees. He peeks through and sees a frightening face with Jenny-like red eyes. Jack opens a safe using the key from the book and finds a gun and a camera inside. The expedition leader states that Jenny is a monster who shouldn't be trusted in the footage that was captured. She can take on several shapes to trick men, and she takes advantage of their weaknesses to control them. Jenny hurries to the car to reply as the station calls Jack in the background. When Jack shoots her through the window, Jenny calls headquarters and reports that Jack has lost his sanity. Jack regains consciousness some hours later and is feeling sick. When he goes to wash his face in the bathroom, he is startled to see his reflection. When Jack shoots the mirror in front of him, the illusion is put an end to by several reflections that gradually appear behind him while the ghost continues to taunt him. Later, Jack stays in the space and hears his family members speaking. He exits the room while the sounds follow him into the kitchen, where he finds Jenny preparing food. Jenny finally admits that she is a demon, and that she had been using his past to test him. She was trying to figure out how long he would hold out before ending his life. And it appears that the test was passed. Jenny makes fun of Jack's attempt to make a cross out of 2 sticks. The gun he then grabs transforms into a kitchen lighter as he threatens to shoot her. He succumbs to Jenny's pressure to indulge his fantasies and sell his soul in exchange for the car keys. She intends to push him to get assistance. Outside the car, Jack sees his wife, who is Jenny, trying to save him. Jack hits her with a screwdriver before spraying gasoline all over the building. When a rescue crew shows up, they calm Jack down before flying him and Jenny to the hospital in a helicopter. Inspector Khalid and Jack's superior all confirm Jenny's account in front of her. They clarify that the toxic gas released from a subterranean cavity as a result of the digging was what triggered the hallucinations. The scientists and Jack began acting irrationally since they were unable to differentiate between reality, memory, and imagination after inhaling the gas. Jenny was less affected, though, because her accommodations were apart from the main building. The other scientists scattered into the desert and are assumed dead at this point. Despite these facts, Jack's suspicions that Jenny is the devil swiftly return. He decides to pay a visit to Jenny. He steals a gun from his teammate and attempts to take Jenny's life. Jack fires a shot, but his co-worker steps in and saves Jenny. Jenny is fortunate to live because Jack had changed the blood bag. Jack had bargained with the devil for his family in exchange for his soul, ultimately resulting in the loss of his sanity. In the end, Jack becomes mentally disturbed for life with the thought that he would give his wife what she wants. Here, this movie ends.